Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom, and today I'm back at Connecticut's premier dead mall, Enfield Square Mall in Enfield, Connecticut. The last time I was here was about 6 months ago in December of 2023. I hadn't planned on doing another video of Enfield Square Mall for another couple of months, but recent events changed my mind. Specifically, it was just announced a few days ago that the mall was in the process of being sold to Woodsonia Real Estate, and that Woodsonia planned to tear down the mall, except for the Target, and replace it with apartments, shops, and restaurants. Now, none of this has been finalized, at least not yet, and even when it is, the mall probably won't be torn down for at least a few months to a year or more, but I wanted to make sure I got at least one more video in before any major construction started. One thing you'll notice as we walk around the mall is something like 85 to 90% or more of the stores are closed. This is where the Moon Crystal used to be. It's actually not out of business though, it just moved down the hall to where Bath & Body Works used to be. The last time we were here, Bath & Body Works was still in the mall, but they moved out shortly after I was here, so sometime in December of 23, Bath & Body Works left. And for those of you wondering, this was filmed on Wednesday, May 15th at about 12:30 p.m. Here's the store directory, and needless to say, it is very out of date. I would say very few of the stores listed on there are still open. And I don't remember seeing this before. It says Vicky's Diaper Cakes and Gifts. What is a diaper cake? Here's where Sears used to be up until 2017. And as we'll see when I do a drive around of the mall later, there's actually new signs on the front of the Sears building saying for lease by Transformco, which Transformco is the owner of the old Sears properties. It was my understanding that the mall owners do not own that Sears building. So if that's the case, when the mall is sold to Woodsonia, assuming the deal goes through, would Woodsonia own that Sears building? I don't think so. And if that's the case, are they still going to tear it down with the rest of the mall, or is it going to be transformed into something else? Or did Transformco decide to sell the Sears to Woodsonia as well? I actually don't know. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. Now, before we get into more detail on the current and future plans for the mall, in case you've never heard of Enfield Square Mall before, let me give a very brief rundown of the mall's history. For a more detailed history of the mall, check out my previous videos on Enfield Square Mall. So this mall opened in 1971, and I'd say it's been what I would consider a dead mall since about 2017 or so. In 2016, the two Macy's locations and the Ruby Tuesdays restaurant, which we passed when we were walking in, closed. Sears then closed shortly thereafter in early 2017. While many new small businesses have opened in the mall since 2017, the vast majority of them have since closed. The most recent high-profile closure was the closure of the Cinemark, which is right here. This closed in December of 2023, and I actually did a video on the closing night at Cinemark. I went to see Godzilla there, and I have a whole video on it, so if you want to see what this place looks like inside, check out that video. But yeah, this was what I would consider probably like an, I don't want to say an anchor store, it's not a store, but this was like an anchor of the mall. The Cinemark and the Target were really the main reason why probably 90+% of the people came to this mall. So when this closed, pretty much everybody knew that that was a sign that this mall was over. And today, really the only remaining anchor store and the only store that brings in any significant number of customers to this mall is the Target, which is going to stay open. There's also a Party City, but every time I've been there, it's almost completely empty, so I can't imagine it's bringing in too many customers of its own. Here's Haven Games and Hobbies, and I don't think that's out of business. I think it just hasn't opened yet. A few of the stores had strange hours on them, like 2 p.m. and later, which I'm sure is just because nobody's in the mall before that. But that's why I think some of these stores appear to be closed, but are not actually out of business. In addition to losing the vast majority of its tenants over the last 7 to 8 years, the mall's also had issues with its current owner, Namdar Realty. The mall was sold to Namdar in 2018, and as far as I can tell, Namdar has done little to nothing to maintain the property or bring in new business. In July of 2022, part of the roof collapsed in the old Macy's women's store, which is at the far end of this hall here, causing severe water damage. The town tried to get the owner to repair the property, but Namdar allegedly never responded, and the town had to do the repairs themselves. Then in May of 2023, the town found a hole in the roof of the old Macy's men's store, which is coming up on the left here. This hole caused even more water damage, which resulted in damage to the fire suppression system, the fire alarms, and the electrical systems. And this, of course, caused a major safety hazard. Oh, and here's that business, the Moon Crystal I was talking about earlier. This is where Bath & Body Works was until December of 2023. And then on the right is Furnari Jewelers. And I don't know how long they've been here, but I think it's been decades. They're almost certainly the longest lasting business in this mall. So straight ahead, this is where the Macy's men's department used to be. And this is the building where the roof collapsed last year in 2023. As I documented in my previous videos, in late May of 2023, the town gave Namdar 30 days to repair the damage. Once again, they allegedly didn't respond or take any action. So on July 14th, 2023, the chief building official for the town, Raymond Stedward, delivered a letter to the tenants of the mall informing them that they were going to close the entire mall down unless Namdar did the repairs. This finally got Namdar's attention, and in July of 2023, the repairs to the fire suppression systems, fire alarms, and electrical systems started. They also built that large firewall in front of the Macy's men's store, as well as firewalls in front of some of the other vacant tenants. Not sure why some got firewalls and others didn't, though. I could be wrong, but I don't think this business was here back in December of 23. This is the Quest VR Lounge, and I'm assuming people use a Meta Quest VR headset and just sit on those couches and play VR games. I can't actually tell, though, if it is still open or not. It's really hard to tell. I didn't see any signs with hours of operation on it. This is a CBD store, and I don't think they're out of business. They just don't seem to be open yet. They might be another one of those stores that just has really strange hours. Also, to the left of the CBD store used to be Claire's, which was open as recently as December of 23. And I'm also pretty sure that's the first time I've ever seen that Chamber of Commerce open. When I was here in December, this was a store called Tremendous. It was basically a Christmas pop-up shop. And now it seems to be where they store all the old kiosks. That's a lot of kiosks, and I honestly can't remember when there were that many kiosks actually being used. It's got to have been at least a decade. So getting back to Namdar and the condition of the mall, it was around 2022, 2023, the same time that the roof started collapsing at the Macy's buildings, that I also started noticing a lot more vandalism at the mall, mostly on the outside. Basically, the mall was covered in graffiti, and also at one point, vandals had torn apart a few of the walls surrounding the mall. And it looked terrible. And it seemed like Namdar wasn't really doing much to clean it up. Something has happened since then. They have covered up or removed a lot of the graffiti, even though there is still some out there. So it looks like they are doing something, but from what I understand, and I could be wrong because I wasn't able to find any articles on this, was that the town was going to be fining Namdar for not getting rid of the graffiti and other damage to the mall. So I'm guessing that might be one of the reasons why the amount of graffiti has diminished recently, but it doesn't look good, and we'll see what it looks like when we do the drive around shortly. As a result of all these issues with Namdar, specifically the roofs collapsing and nothing being done to fix them and all the vandalism, etc., from what I've read, the town decided that they were no longer interested in dealing with Namdar, and the town strongly suggested that they sell the mall. By November of 2023, 2 potential buyers had come forward, but their identities remained unknown until just recently. According to news articles from May 13th, 2024, the mall is in the final stages of being sold to Woodsonia Real Estate, but at least as of the date that I uploaded this video, the sale is not yet final. Woodsonia Real Estate has proposed a $250 million plan to demolish the mall, except for the existing Target and possibly the Sears. and replace it with 450 to 500 luxury apartments, restaurants, and shops, which would be called Enfield Marketplace. One of the articles noted that the retail and restaurant space would encompass about 165,000 square feet, which really isn't that big. For comparison, the current mall is about 788,000 square feet, so it sounds like the apartments will make up the vast majority of the project. In order to help fund the project, the town is requesting $20 million in funding from the state. It sounds like if the town doesn't get this funding from the state, then the project may not go forward. But if the project does go forward, it's estimated that construction and/or demolition will begin either towards the end of 2024 or early in 2025. The project would then take roughly 2 years to complete. So for now, we just have to wait and see what happens, but rest assured, though, that I plan to fully document the demolition of the mall and the construction of Enfield Marketplace. Personally, I'm sad to see the mall go. I have been coming here for almost 30 years at this point, and I am definitely going to miss it, but I think it makes sense to tear it down because, honestly, at this point, the mall has such a bad reputation that even if they completely gutted the place and redid it, I think a lot of people still would not come just because it's Enfield Square Mall and everybody thinks of it as the dead mall. So I really do think the best thing is to tear it down and start fresh. But again, I'm going to miss it. But at least, we'll have these videos to look back on and we'll all have a clear memory of what the place was like. But yeah, I think it's for the best. Let me know what you think about that in the comments, though. This is new. I don't remember this display being here before. I do remember this vending machine, though. Every time I've been here before, it has looked like it's been turned off. I got a close look at those Cokes there. The expiration date is December of 23. So I would not recommend that you buy anything out of that vending machine. If you buy the Cokes, at least, I'm almost certain they're going to be flat. And this was the Macy's women's department. This is where the roof collapsed in 2022. Now let's take a quick look in the Party City and you can just see how dead it is in here. I think there were maybe 2 customers up at the front of the store and that's about it. I'd say that's pretty dead, and it's like that pretty much every time I've been here, other than, like I said, around the Halloween season. So I don't know how they stay open, to be honest with you. This is the hallway down to the bathrooms, and on the right here you'll see these pictures on the wall. These are all of the businesses that are still open, and every one of these that is blank is a business that is now closed. And you'll see that the vast majority of these pictures are blank. So we got the Party City, blank, blank. There's the Furnari Jewelers. There's another picture of the play spot out in front of the Target. And Pelly Sports. And then that Rainbow store. And everything else is blank. So even though they don't really maintain the mall, apparently somebody has the time to take down the pictures when a business moves out. And that's the family bathrooms. Those have been closed for years. Those just reopened recently. These are the regular bathrooms. But the other ones, they have like changing facilities for kids and things like that. And that's the security office there on the right. And don't forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. The number of new subscribers I've had over the last 1 or 2 months has actually gone down drastically. It's down by almost 50%. So if you like my videos and you want to see more of them, please hit the subscribe button. And don't forget, subscribing is free. Thanks. On the right is State Line Video Games. They sell video games, a lot of used video games, that type of stuff. Pretty good store. I've been in there a couple times before. So if there were a reason I would come to this mall other than to film it, it would probably be to go to that store or the Target, one or the other. And here's the Target, which apparently will be the only remaining building once they tear down the mall. And if anybody wants me to do a walkthrough of that Target, let me know in the comments. Does anybody know what this thing is straight ahead? I have no clue. They have this bench looking at it. It almost looks like a tanning booth, but that doesn't seem to make any sense. So there's the inside of Enfield Square Mall, but don't go anywhere yet. Like normal, I'm going to do a drive around the mall and we can see what it looks like from the outside, so stay tuned. First up is the old Sears building, which has been closed since 2017, and as you can see, it's in really poor condition. But they do have that green sign there on the front door that says for lease, and that went up, I think, sometime late last year. Again, I'm not sure if it's going to be affected by the sale of the mall, though. Hard to say. To the right of the entrance, that used to be Ruby Tuesdays. That's been closed since 2016. This is the old Macy's women's store, and this was highly vandalized. I think back in 2022, that whole archway there was covered in graffiti, and it has been cleaned up some since then, but there is some new graffiti there if you look really closely. And they had also taken the top stones off of these walls here and thrown them everywhere. Looks like somebody did put them back, at least most of them. But yeah, if you look at my old videos, this area here in particular was in really poor condition. It doesn't look great now, but compared to what it looked like, it looks pretty good. This is where the roof collapsed in 2022. There was actually an additional roof here, like a little gray roof on top of this. That's what actually collapsed. They've since removed that, and I assume they've repaired the hole in the roof at this point. But I can't see what it looks like up top, so I'm not really sure what they did up there. This was the Radio Shack at one point. And there, of course, is the Party City. And if you've watched some of my older videos, you might remember that there were Christmas trees and Christmas decorations in those windows for something like 2.5, 3 years straight. And they finally took those down. And this is the Macy's men's department. This is where the roof collapsed in 2023. This was the big one. This is the one that almost shut down the mall. There used to be a red X on this building saying no entry, but obviously they've removed that. So I guess they did enough repairs to make it safe for people to go in there again. And then this was the Cinemark right here. And you can see that wall is all chewed up there. I don't know how that happened. Towards the bottom, they've got like big chunks out of the wall. I remember this was the entrance to Sears Lawn and Garden, as well as I think automotive supplies and like workout equipment. And then that was merchandise pickup right there. Here's the old Sears Auto Center, and you can see they have also got that poster in the window saying short-term leasing available. And there you have it. That is the Enfield Square Mall in Enfield, Connecticut. That was my May 2024 update. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up, as well as store walkthroughs and, of course, flea markets. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.